Hello everyone, welcome to Noir Feed. Today we'll be discussing the troubling disappearance of Lucely Aramburo. We'll be going over what we currently know and where the investigation currently stands. Now then, shall we? Lucely Aramburo, also called Lily by her friends and family, was born November 16, 1983 in San Francisco, California. Her family moved to Miami, Florida when she was still a baby. When Lily was a child, she starred in a popular Spanish variety show called Sábado Gigante Show. The show aired weekly, and millions tuned into the show to enjoy some fun entertainment. However, like many child entertainers, Lily's teen years would have moments of trouble. Lily started experimenting with illegal drugs her freshman year of high school, which led to a years-long struggle with addiction. She dropped out of high school as a result of her struggles. Later on, though, she did earn her GED to hopefully improve her life. Lily would go on to have a baby boy in 2007 when she was 23. She was living with her boyfriend, Christian Pacheco, at the time, with talks of marriage in their future. On the evening of June 1st, 2007, two friends would visit Lily and Christian at their apartment in Kendall, Florida. After the friends left the home, Lily and Christian would get into an argument. This argument would lead Lily to leave the home with a couple of bungee cords and wearing only a nightgown. She had left without her cell phone, purse, shoes, and she had no vehicle of her own. According to Christian, he searched for Lily for hours in their neighborhood and reported her missing when she had been gone for 24 hours. The police were initially dismissive of the case, assuming Lily was a drug-addicted runaway. Lily's mother, however, had doubts of the police's assumption that her daughter had just run away. Lily's son was only 6 months old at the time of her disappearance. Her mother claimed that her baby was her whole world and she wouldn't have just left him behind. She would also attest that Lily confessed to her at one point in time that she feared Christian. As we already know, it was supposedly an argument that led Lily to leave her apartment so abruptly at 2 o'clock in the morning. The police had been to their home twice before, with reports of arguments occurring. Lily was also in the middle of a custody battle with the state regarding her infant son. She initially lost custody when drugs were found in her system. She attended a court-ordered drug treatment program in an effort to regain custody. This may have been more difficult to accomplish, though, as Christian at the time also had drug addiction problems. Just a few days before she disappeared, Lily failed a court-ordered drug test. Even though the test was positive, Lily swore under oath that she did not take illegal drugs. A theory arose that someone may have slipped drugs into Lily's system without her knowing. Lily also had been diagnosed with depression and schizophrenia. However, this was ruled out as a reason for her disappearance, as she was staying consistent with her prescribed medication at the time. Christian said that when she left the apartment, he believed her to be suicidal. As mentioned before, she left with no belongings, no keys, no shoes, with only 2 bungee cords in her hands. So it's easy to see how someone would perceive that as suicidal behavior. Now, there is also a theory that Christian is responsible for Lily's disappearance. They had a tumultuous relationship involving drugs and fighting. It's believed that the drugs found in Lily's system had been slipped to her by Christian, although no proof has been discovered to credit this theory. When Christian had been polygraph tested years later, the initial report came back that he passed the test. However, it was later revealed that Christian had in fact failed the polygraph test. There is another theory that runs somewhat concurrently with the theory that Christian is responsible in some way for Lily's disappearance. When the case shifted to the Miami-Dade Homicide Department in 2009, 2 years after Lily's disappearance, Detective Ray Hoadley took notice of inconsistencies in the initial investigation. One major inconsistency was the time between her disappearance and when Christian had been issued the polygraph test. It also took the department a week to start the investigation, which seems like an extremely long time to start looking for an infant's mother. There's still no public information on if the two friends who supposedly saw Lily on June 1st had been identified or questioned about what they saw that evening. There was also an odd media blackout about her disappearance, as barely any information was released to the public to help locate her. Over the years, there have been a few sightings reported of Lily in the Miami-Dade area. However, none of them have been confirmed at this time. Since Lily's disappearance, Christian Pacheco has been arrested and prosecuted on multiple drug charges over the years. This case is still ongoing, although it is now being handled by the Miami-Dade Department of Homicide. Lily is described as a 4'11" Hispanic woman with dark brown hair and hazel eyes. She also has a scar on her left wrist and below her left knee. She also has a C-section scar and musical notes tattooed on her back. She sometimes goes by the aliases Ashley Green or Amber Hall. Lily would currently be 37 years old and has been missing for over 13 years at the time of this telling. If you have any information about this case, please contact the Miami-Dade Homicide Department at the number listed below. And there we have the conclusion of a sad story of a mother who has yet to come home. This is unfortunately tragic due to the fact that the police didn't do anything for quite some time due to the stigma of both drug addiction as well as mental illness. Hopefully something can come up soon to where we can get some kind of answer. With that note, this has been Noir Feed, and I will see you next time.